Yo, I'm Drew and I live in Thailand, and you may have seen a lot of news stories recently about Thailand recriminalizing weed. So I want to not only talk about this and see what the actual situation is here on the ground, but I also want to go to some of these places and see what it's actually like in some of these shops, whether they actually have to shut down. We'll walk down the road and see if there is actually shops open, whether you can still buy, what the rules are. But before we do that, let's just talk about what we know, because it's very confusing in Thailand. There's lots of conflicting information, and it's kind of hard to figure out what's actually happening right now. So what's actually happening with the weed laws in Thailand? Well, first of all, what I can tell you is headlines like this are completely wrong. Where it's like, oh, recreational cannabis now to be illegal in Thailand. Recreational cannabis has never been legal in Thailand. As much as it looks like it was, it never has been. And I would say 90% of the rules and regulations that you're seeing people post about saying that this is the change were already rules and regulations, and it just wasn't really that enforced, and everything is supposed to have already been medical. So when you see everything saying, look, Thailand's changing everything from recreational to medical, that's actually what was already the situation before. So a lot of headlines are making it out as if it's a lot worse than it actually is. So I will say that right off the bat. So what is actually happening? Why is it a big stink? Why am I making this video if that's the case? So what is actually changing is they're trying to enforce a lot of these rules, and they're also trying to impose some extra changes on top of that. That generally makes it worse for a lot of places and a lot of people, and it makes it a bit more confusing as well. So what do we know? So the 27th of June is today, and as of today, there was a Facebook Live about 4 hours ago from, I think it was the Ministry of Health or someone in the government, where they just confirmed a few things, because they're saying you're going to have a prescription, which the prescription seems like you just have to pay to get a prescription, and you speak to a doctor, you pay, and then they give you the prescription, and you're fine. It seems like there's going to be some sort of limits imposed. They're trying to say 30-gram limit for 30 days. I'm not 100% sure how that's going to be enforced, or whether it's even going to be enforced at all, whether that's just what the script is for. So you can't buy more than 30 grams. That's what I'm assuming the situation will end up being. But in this Facebook Live, they confirmed that you don't need a prescription, at least for the next 30 days while everything is getting introduced. For the actual shops themselves, they need to actually have registered flour. They can't have just flour from anywhere. They need to have GACP registered flour to a facility somewhere, in a facility, which, to be honest, regulated flour, from a place with a COA with tests. I feel like that probably should have come in the first place. Now, a lot of people are confused about smoking lounges as well. You see a lot of headlines where they're saying they're banning smoking lounges. But again, this is another one of those things where smoking lounges actually weren't allowed in the first place. It's a really weird situation where there was kind of a loophole for smoking lounges, where if it was a separate business, then you can allow smoking inside the business. But I think with this bill, they're trying to make it so that you can't have just a random business that you can have a smoking lounge in. So that's where the confusion is. They're trying to get rid of smoking lounges in general, but not the ones that were attached to dispensaries, because technically they weren't supposed to be attached to dispensaries anyways. But again, in this confusing mess of everything, you hear all that and you think, oh, well, so there's no smoking lounges at the dispensaries now. No, it's actually the complete opposite. Inadvertently, they've legalized smoking lounges at the dispensaries, because you can now have a smoking lounge at a dispensary as long as you have supervision from a doctor on site. But from speaking to some shops, that's not going to be a thing for at least another 30 days to 45 days, because it takes a while to get a clinic license to make your dispensary also a clinic, to then have a doctor on file. So it's going to take about a month for the smoking lounges to be back open, which is why I think a lot of people freaking out about this are freaking out too early. A lot of people are messaging me hey Drew, I have a flight booked, I'm coming for a holiday. Bro, I don't think much is really going to change for your holiday, other than you might have to go to a place and pay a doctor 20 quid to get a prescription before you then can go into the shops, just like you normally were. And there should be more lounges, because most of these places are going to become clinics. They're going to have a doctor on site, and they're going to want to have a smoking lounge in their dispensary. So that's what I'm assuming the change is going to be. Again, it's so confusing. It's so jumbled up. Stuff changes every day. They did an announcement on the first day, then they did another announcement the next day. Now they've done this Facebook Live today trying to clarify stuff, which has also made it kind of confusing, but also clarified stuff. It's a bit weird that we need to just leave. We need to go to a shop somewhere, and we need to see if we can still get something, because on this Facebook Live, they said that you don't need a prescription. You can still just buy like normal for the next 30 days. I want to see what the shops are saying. I want to see what their thoughts are on it. And I think from speaking to people already, it sounds like most people aren't really too worried. They just think it's going to be a week or two of jumbled, confusing mess, and then it's going to be kind of fine again, because that's what it seems like. One thing to keep note on as well is when you do the electronic visa thing, it's not an electronic visa, it's like an electronic digital arrival card for Thailand. When you do that, one of the options it gives you, like one of the first options it gives you to like select for one of the reasons why you're coming is medical cannabis tourism. And they just introduced this travel thing. So again, I don't think everything's going away anytime soon. But before we go to a shop to check on how everything's doing, I need to go pick up my car because I'm sure some of you guys may have seen that I bought an Evo 6. It's really nice. It's been driving amazing. But I just added an electronic boost into it and I need to go pick it up. Finally back. So this is what we've added in here. We've added in this electric boost and got a retune. I'm going to put the retune on the screen. I'm very excited. Holy shit, that was on the low boost. So I just got a message from the guy who did my car and he said this, so we're gonna have to give it a try. Okay, so we're at the freeway and we're gonna press high boost. So I'm interested in what that's gonna do. All right, let's see what this is like. Oh my fucking god, bruv! All right, sweet. We are here, and it looks like everything's open. Well, that was an absolutely lovely drive over here. It's looking like it's open right now, so I mean, everything looks normal. Yo, good. How are you? Oh, bro, the party was fucking sick.
So good.
Hey, go away for a week and then everything is going tits up.
What have you had? You probably know more than I do.
I mean, from what I've heard, it's like they've put in, well, from what I heard originally, it was supposed to be those 2 dates, right? There was supposed to be the November date, that is like the goal. Yeah. And then they were like, right, tomorrow, we're changing all the regulations that everything's got to be GACP and you've got to have to register everything. People are going to have prescriptions. Yeah. And then everyone was freaking out for like a day. And then they obviously realized, well, there is no way to get a prescription right now. So like, what is the point? Yeah. And now today, there was like a Facebook live stream with the government where they basically said, look, like we've got a grace period of like 30 days or something. And until then, everything's like normal. And even then after then, it seems like, okay, sweet, you've got to have a doctor in the dispensary.
Yeah, so this is crazy because
that's it.
I was going to question you on lounges are still pretty tight. Edibles.
Well, so lounges weren't allowed before.
Well, that's crazy. So
now they're inadvertently allowed, like as long as you have a doctor.
Right. Okay. Fine.
Yeah, that's the way I'm seeing it. Yeah. So like, I reckon it's just going to be a month where everyone's going to be chasing around getting a doctor in the shop, and then you can have somebody sat right there giving prescriptions, and then they can come over and do that. And so there's a couple places that are still, they have lounges open right now, and it's because they already were a clinic and they already do have a doctor on staff, and they're already within the regulation anyways. Because Frost, yeah, you know that Frost dispensary, yeah, because I know they basically freaked out about this last year, and they were like, all right, sweet, and then they changed everything.
Everyone's saying that it's just going to be a big scare for a month, and then after that, we're just going to die down.
Pretty much. So it's a tiny bit weird it being a bit barren in here, but I think that's just because they like closed and had to reorganize stuff, and now they're open again. But it seems like everything is running pretty smooth. Oh, and there we go. Look, I mean, doesn't seem like much has changed out here. So right now, nothing's really happened. Bangkok hasn't changed. When I was driving around, I saw a bunch of stores open. Seemed like everything was just like normal. Just everyone's being careful to follow the regulations that were there before. And it doesn't seem like any of this new stuff has really taken effect yet. And I think because of this grace period, everyone's just kind of seeing how it goes by day. But you best bet that if there is any change, and if there is any update, then I will say it here. I think the next time there might be any change might be in about a month, but I think most shops are just preparing to just have a doctor on staff, and then it's basically just a new staff member, and everything's like normal, at least for now. Oh yeah, and a lot of people don't know this these days because I barely promote it in the videos, but I live stream it every single day on Kick at 6 p.m. UK time, or Thailand time midnight. So I'll see you on Kick after this video goes up.